Occupy Lincoln were not moved off of Centennial Mall by the May 1st deadline that had been negotiated. And this morning at about 4 a.m. we executed that plan. We had a briefing at the police station, and we had a group of police officers, a crew from the Public Works Department, and a couple of representatives from the Health Department to do that. It turned out to be really a non-event. We had 3 people that were on Centennial Mall. 2 of them left, walked away. A 3rd man moved a couple of times, but after being asked several times to leave the area, he was arrested for failure to comply.
Okay, please stop interrupting. If not, you may ask to leave.
There was about a pickup load and 1 trailer load of refuse left behind that were collected by the officers and by the Public Works crew, and that material was taken away. We're going to hang on to that for a short period of time in case there's anything in there that someone wants to reclaim. We were all done and wrapped up just shy of 30 minutes. All the officers went back in service.
Rod, you want to talk a little bit about legal changes to come?
I'm Rod Conifer, Lincoln City Attorney. As the mayor said, the city has attempted to strike a balance between the right of people to express their opinions freely and openly, and the city's interests as well. We continue to and will continue to honor people's right to protest and to exercise their First Amendment rights. However, the law is clear that government is entitled to place some restrictions on the time, manner, and place that First Amendment rights will be expressed. And we think that we come up with a way that we can do that. These are content neutral restrictions, meaning that they apply to everyone regardless of the message that would be expressed. In fact, what we found out was that once we started looking at the laws after the Occupy movement had made the presence known, there were some significant gaps in the city laws that we felt should be rectified. We are making amendments to 2 parts of the Lincoln Municipal Code. One part is Parks part, and the other chapter is public spaces. In the parks area, we are simply changing the definition of parks to include what most people think of as parks, regardless of whether it's dedicated as a park. And those are public areas that are already being administered and supervised by the Parks and Recreation Department. So that will make the general regulations that apply to parks in general apply to places such as Centennial Mall that aren't formally dedicated as a park but are public property, public spaces that sort of function of a park. We are also providing restrictions on the erection of tent by changing some provisions of the public space chapter to the Lincoln Municipal Code. When we looked at the code, we found out that there wasn't any restriction on people placing tents in anywhere on public property, except as far as we could restrict the time that they would be in parks. Therefore, we felt that it was necessary to serve the public interest and maintain the appearance of the city, to allow that people would all be entitled to use these public spaces and not have to walk around tents for to do that. That we changed the Lincoln Municipal Code to provide that tents can only be erected and with a permit. public spaces, and that's what these provisions are designed to achieve. Other than that, we had a cleanup provision that will also allow wheelchairs to be utilized in, powered wheelchairs to be utilized in public parks. That was an omission from our code that we are changing with the same ordinance. We think that, as I said, these provisions will still allow people to exercise their free speech. It's clear under the Supreme Court's guidelines that the streets, sidewalks, parks are traditional public forums where people can exercise their rights of free speech freely, and they continue to be open to that purpose.
Is there a time requirement on how long somebody could stay there if they don't have a tent?
The public parks have provisions, hours when you can be in the public parks. And so now that these areas are being declared to be part of the parks, then those restrictions will apply. However, we do have an exception for sidewalks in the Centennial Mall area. Those are open 24 hours a day.
So somebody could, if they wanted to, if they didn't have a tent, they could protest on Centennial Mall for.
Absolutely. There may be some restrictions on, if you get 1,000 people and you're blocking the sidewalks and things of that nature, we have some restrictions that would be enforced on those bases. But you can go down and protest and exercise your rights of free speech on any sidewalk in Lincoln, as long as you're complying with other provisions of the law.
Is there any other public space besides Centennial Mall that would fall under this new definition?
There are some other areas. This applies to any public ground that is supervised by the Parks and Recreation Department. I'm not familiar with all of those, but I know that there are others besides Centennial Mall.
Can you give me an example?
No, I know.
That's true. Good morning, I'm Lynn Johnson, Parks and Recreation Department. Yeah, there's a number of areas in Lincoln where public right-of-way adjoins parkland. And if you're out there and looking at the site, it's green, it's managed as parkland, but it is in fact public right-of-way. A couple of examples, the area at 30th Street is unvacated public right-of-way. It's just like parkland, we won't like parkland, it's green. Interesting enough, the parking lot at Sunken Gardens is also an area of public right-of-way. Obviously, it's managed as part of Sunken Gardens, but it's public right-of-way. And there's some other pieces like that as well.
Why introduce this, maybe I should talk to the mayor, why introduce this legislation now as opposed to doing it when the loophole was discovered? When you found out that you didn't have the proper tools, to ensure, that there was this balance between freedom of speech and, this access to these different areas.
I think it was for all of the reasons that I described to you in my remarks.